the emails you said to me is you were kind of saying, God, I'd love to ask what would a younger John Sharkey say to himself. And I just did a podcast with an old friend of mine, Michael King in Pilates, and it was called A Letter to a Young Anatomist. In other words, if you had the opportunity to send a letter to yourself, to a younger you, what would you say? And it's an odd one, because for anybody who, came to any of my sessions back in the late 80s and early 90s, I'm pretty much saying the same things, would you believe?
Okay.
All these years, yeah, and I'm always saying that time is the great witness.
Time
The
is
human
great
body
witness.
and anatomy. And I used to call it the never-ending story. And it was based on that, Disney had a movie out called The Never-Ending Story. But the idea behind the never-ending story was that nothing ends. There was no beginning and there was no ending. It was a never-ending story. In other words, how many muscles did you have in the body? One muscle. Because it's one muscle that rises and falls throughout the entire body. So anybody who came to that will remember, and I've had emails from people saying, oh yeah, I remember you coming listening to you. And that was seen as kind of controversial back then. But I tend to think that all I was doing was putting forward a hypothesis. I wasn't coming in and trying to force it down anybody's throat.